Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. To all the students and parents joining us, I am so thrilled to have you here. As a career counselor, I constantly see families stressing out over what path to take, especially right before picking those crucial high school subjects. Choosing the right career is arguably one of the biggest decisions in a student's journey. So today, we are going to look into our Career Spotlight of the Week, which is designed specifically to help you explore some really exciting, cutting-edge paths before you have to make those big decisions.
So what exactly do we mean by Career Spotlight of the Week? Well, my goal today is to be your guide. We use this as a totally research-backed career exploration tool. Basically, I want to help students discover the absolute right fit careers early on. This saves families from the massive headache of just blindly following whatever trend happens to be popular right now. We really want to align your natural abilities, your interests, and your strengths with careers that are literally shaping the future. And let me tell you, today's spotlight is on a truly fascinating field. All right, so here is our game plan for today. We'll start with what bioinformatics actually is, look at a day in the life, check out the required skills, and run through the subjects you should choose early. After that, we'll dive into future demand and job security, and then wrap the whole thing up with a pretty incredible biological fact. Okay, let's jump right in with Section 1. What exactly is bioinformatics? Think of bioinformatics as a real-life, modern-day superpower. It is this brilliant intersection where biology meets computer code. When most people think of a biology career, they automatically picture scientists hunched over a traditional lab bench with test tubes, microscopes, and all sorts of chemicals. But modern bioinformatics, it's entirely different. Instead of handling hazardous materials in a lab coat, you are sitting at a computer screen. You're writing code, you're analyzing these massive data sets, and you're building computational tools to decode human DNA and drive major medical breakthroughs. It's pretty amazing.
Let's actually put this into perspective with an example we all know a little too well. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, scientists across the globe needed answers, and they needed them instantly. They absolutely did not have years to run traditional lab experiments. So, bioinformaticians stepped up. Within days, they used computers to analyze the entire genetic code of the virus. Within weeks, they were tracking exactly how the virus was mutating across the globe. And because of that data, within months, laboratories were able to develop vaccines far faster than ever before in human history. So the next time you read about some huge medical breakthrough, just remember, there's a very high chance a bioinformatics specialist was the engine driving it.
Moving on to Section 2, let's get practical and look at a real-world day in the life. I want you to meet Ananya. She is a bioinformatician working at a really thriving biotech company right here in Pune. Let's walk through a typical day for her. At 9 a.m., a local hospital sends over a massive batch of raw genetic data from a group of cancer patients. The doctors are stuck. They need to know why some patients are responding beautifully to a new drug while others aren't. Fast forward to the afternoon, and Ananya is running a program she actually wrote herself in Python. It's sifting through thousands and thousands of lines of genetic code. It's careful work, She has to debug her code a couple of times. But suddenly, a pattern emerges. Her code finds a tiny variation in one specific gene that keeps popping up in the patients who aren't responding to the meds. By the end of the day, she is on a video call briefing a team of oncologists, translating all that complex data into plain English so the doctors can adjust their treatments. Just think about that. Her computer code is directly helping cancer patients get better care. That is the incredible power of this role. All right, Section 3, skills you will need. What does it take to do this? Now, what's really awesome about this list of skills is that if you're a student, you can literally start practicing them today from your own desk. First up, analytical thinking. You really need to enjoy looking at a giant sea of information and hunting down that one hidden pattern. Second, comfort with coding. You don't need to be a hacker on day one, but languages like Python and R are going to be your best friends here. And hey, you can start learning Python online this weekend. Third, you need a genuine curiosity about biology. If you find yourself wondering how diseases spread, you're on the right track. Fourth is attention to detail. In this line of work, a tiny bug in your dataset could lead a doctor to the wrong conclusion, so precision is everything. And finally, clear communication. Just like Ananya and Pune, you have to be able to explain your brilliant, complex code to medical teams who might not know the first thing about programming. Which brings us to Section 4. Subjects to choose early on in high school. If you are in high school right now and this sounds like your kind of career, getting your foundation right early is absolutely crucial. Biology, mathematics, and computer science, that is your golden triad for this field. Adding statistics is also incredibly helpful because, remember, you'll be analyzing massive data sets. Chemistry and physics are also great supportive subjects for understanding molecular structures later on. I always tell students, if you love the strict logic of math and computer science, but you are totally fascinated by the messy, living world of biology, this exact subject combination is going to set you up perfectly.
Okay, on to Section 5. Let's talk about future demand and job security.
Parents, if you are listening, grab a seat because this part is for you. I know stability is always a major concern when we talk about newer careers, but let me reassure you about the long-term job security here. India is currently experiencing a massive boom, making us one of the fastest growing markets for bioinformatics in the whole world. I mean, our pharmaceutical industry is the third largest globally by volume. We are seeing rapid expansion in genomics and data-driven drug development. What that means is the heavy hitters, giants like Biocon, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, and Cipla, are aggressively hiring for these specific roles. And it's not just private companies. Premier government research institutions like CSIR, ICMR, and the DBT are constantly on the lookout for trained bioinformatics professionals. And let's break down the financial stability too. At the entry level, a fresh graduate can expect to earn somewhere between 4 to 7 lakhs per annum. But watch what happens to that trajectory. With just 5 to 8 years of solid experience, as you start leading data analysis and managing complex projects, that expected salary jumps to 15 to 25 lakhs per annum. And if you move into senior global roles or start heading up major research teams, the compensation is significantly higher. This is a highly sought-after skill set, and the financial rewards absolutely reflect that value. And hey, the demand isn't just restricted to India. The entire field is experiencing a huge global growth boom. We're talking about it growing at over 20% year on year globally. So if working internationally is a dream of yours, this career opens massive overseas opportunities in places like the US, the UK, Australia, and Singapore. Trained professionals are in demand everywhere, and that demand is only going in one direction, straight up. Finally, Section 6. I want to leave you with a really interesting biological fact. 3 billion. Take a second and just let that number sink in. That is the approximate number of base pairs in human DNA that were mapped out during the famous Human Genome Project, which wrapped up back in 2003. It was honestly one of the most ambitious scientific projects in human history. Mapping those 3 billion base pairs was literally described as the biological equivalent of landing on the moon. But here's the secret that a lot of people don't realize. The scientists who made this possible weren't just staring through microscopes all day. They were bioinformaticians. They had to build the massive computational tools and databases required just to store, let alone compare and analyze, that absolute mountain of genetic data. And today, researchers all over the world use those exact same databases every single day. Every new medicine we develop builds on the foundation laid by those early bioinformaticians. Bioinformatics sits at the absolute heart of some of the most critical work happening in science right now, from personalized medicine to curing cancer. It is one of those rare careers where you get to use the logical, coding side of your brain and the curious, questioning side of your brain at the exact same time. If you want to do work that genuinely matters and actually changes people's lives, this path is definitely worth exploring. So I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on today. If you could write a piece of code to solve one major biological mystery, what would it be? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in our next explainer.